The following video is a Dennis the Menace production. Dennis the Menace, this name will never stick. On this episode of Is That Gonna Be on the Exam, we look at spam. First, we must talk about what is spam. Spam is unwanted messages that are sent to many users at once. There are many different kinds of spam messages that can be sent, although many people just assume spam is email. You can also have spam text messages and comments on social networking sites and threads of that nature. Spam messages usually consist of either someone offering someone a large amount of money from a dead relative. This is known as a Nigeria spam, and that's why the photo is there. Or telling people that they have like low-cost illegal prescriptions or something that's of dubious nature that some people may click on because they want it even though it's illegal. So those are the different ways that people can entice people to open up spam. There are several techniques of spamming people. The first of which is mainly just enticing people. This is the major way that spammers get people to open their large quantities of emails, is just enticing them. So this would mean the concept of enticing is like offering something that a person would want or is interested in, and makes it seem like it's feasible and reliable, and then they open it. So some people get tricked into opening spam mail by having informative subject lines such as "here's that document you asked for." So it makes it sound like something they were expecting, and then they just open it assuming that's who they were expecting it from, although that is not the case. Another one is having news-related facts in the subject line, such as Osama bin Laden's death, and then that'll entice several people to look into it, although it won't be what they're looking for. So the idea of enticing people into looking is very popular and may cause spammers to be more successful than they would usually be. There are several impacts of spam on computer users and companies, first of which is exposure to malware. Many spam mails are laced with malware, including viruses and worms, that once the spam mail is opened, the virus and worm are in the computer and automatically spread, as we talked about in the last chapter of malicious software. The next is consumption of disk space and bandwidth. So in this sense, if enough spam was sent to one person, then it would just clog up most of their mail space and bandwidth, and they wouldn't be able to operate. And there's the possibility that important emails that need to be sent will not be able to be received and will just be bounced back to the sender because there's no room in their mailboxes. And finally, how can businesses lose money due to spam? There are two main ways that businesses lose money due to spam. The first is through employee process. If they're too busy trying to go through and delete spam just so they can get important emails, the company is losing precious time and money on the employees doing that instead of actually doing real work. And also, they could lose money if they have to install an anti-spam software program into all their computers, which will cost money and also take up a lot of time for programmers to put that into each of the company's computers. One very common question with dealing with spammers is, how do spammers find email addresses to use? The first of which is they use spam bots, are used to sift through thousands of web pages to find valid email addresses to use, and this allows them to create them and then use them to their advantage and send spam emails through. Another way is spammers sometimes try to randomly create email addresses from common names and combinations of names and numbers, and that way it actually appears like a real person is sending it, and it's just a common email like Mike Lonas 37. So that makes it a little bit more believable that it's a real person. And the final way that spammers find email addresses is through companies. Some companies find and collect email addresses and sell the information out. So that's another way that spammers would be able to find and use email addresses that are very common. Since spam is so dangerous in many different ways, spam filters have been created in recent years. Spam filters are meant to reduce the amount of spam a person receives in their email or text messages or whichever way they're being spammed. One of the ways they do this is by using Bayesian filtering. Bayesian filtering is a software system that goes through and analyzes every email or text message you get, and analyzes the percent of words that would match up to spam ideas, such as collect free money or something like that. So that's what Bayesian filtering does. It just analyzes each document, saying what the likelihood is that it's spam based on the words inside of it. Spam is also being stopped on a global level by marking IP addresses of known spam sources and making those available to the public, so they're able to see which email addresses are spam sources and able to know not to open anything from those. And then finally, CAPTCHA systems have become very popular in many social networking sites and email address creation areas. So CAPTCHA would be, it displays images, letters, and words that a user must type in before they can create an email address. And this stops spammers from having bots create thousands of email addresses at one time, because they are unable to analyze this and function and carry it out. Therefore, a person actually has to go in and fill out the CAPTCHA in order to continue on. So that's also stopping a lot of spammers. With the creation of spam filters, many spammers are finding ways to avoid them. So one common way spammers avoid spam filters is by inserting large blocks of text from books or websites in order to lower the percentage of words in the actual spam that would catch on a Bayesian filtering system. That way, with the large text, the other words don't seem as important since the percentage is much lower than usual. Another way that they avoid spam filters is by doing image spamming, and they put the spam in an image email instead of a regular text image. That because spam filters can't read the image. And then a web bug is an image that is, once clicked, it links back to the spammer's network and immediately notifies him that you have an active email address and will prompt him to send you more spam because it is an active email address. And finally, these are the sources I used to find information and other things for my project. Thank you for watching a Dennis the Menace production video. Dennis the Menace Productions. I can't believe that name stuck.